I think Dr. Mechanism of Action is exactly right. I think we need a revolution in our approaches to behavioral and social intervention research. I think part of the problem is that it takes a while for advances in statistical methods to become common practice. We have very sophisticated methods for analyzing mediators and moderators, but many interventionists, and even the statisticians they work with, don't tend to use these methods. Yes, that would solve part of the problem. But the problem really starts with the design of the study. Investigators need to plan for mediation and moderation tests from the very start. And that involves having a clear theoretical rationale for why the intervention is expected to work, and which variables are expected to mediate or moderate the outcome. With a clear rationale for what is expected of the intervention, choices in the study design become more clear. For instance, if an intervention is expected to increase self-efficacy for smoking cessation, it follows that the study design should allow for a test of whether the intervention increased self-efficacy. Understanding the nature of self-efficacy would guide our choice and timing of measures. Since self-efficacy tends to be domain-specific, and may be a state rather than a trait, we might decide to administer smoking-specific efficacy measures with regular frequency throughout the study. This figure may help to illustrate my point. If we expect self-efficacy to be relatively fluid over time, we couldn't just measure it before our smoking cessation treatment, and then again after treatment. If self-efficacy changes frequently, we'd want to capture any changes all throughout treatment. And if we wanted to know whether our intervention had a specific effect, we may want to compare it to another intervention that is not intended to increase self-efficacy. By measuring self-efficacy changes for both intervention conditions, we'd have some idea of whether our intervention had a specific effect on smoking cessation and self-efficacy. Again, this figure may be helpful. By comparing our self-efficacy intervention to a different intervention, but measuring self-efficacy changes in both conditions, we begin to see whether self-efficacy is a specific outcome of our intervention. I'm saying that we can do better, and that it isn't as hard as it seems. We'll continue to support the movement away from spaghetti and meatball science for as long as it takes.